I think Homestuck was really important to me mostly as a form of escapism. When I first started reading the comic, I was in a pretty dark place in my life, and getting into the fandom and reading the comic helped me get more social, and it was an escapism from my situation. And I had made a lot of good friends in the fandom from reading the comic.
Homestuck's important to me because I didn't really have any friends around the time that I found it, and after reading it, I of course went online. I wanted to find other people who read it. First thing I found was MS Parp, which was that role-playing site. I met a lot of great people from there. I met my current best friend. My current best friend is actually the first person I met on Parp and talked to off the site. The Homestuck music community especially has been very welcoming to me, with Cool and New Music Team being its own thing and being a part of doing art for LoFam 4 and naming a couple songs. That was incredible. It's just really nice to, feel like you have a home online. It can really be a comfort when you don't really have anything offline.
What did Homestuck mean to me? Well, it was practically my favorite story I ever read. I don't know why teens love this comic so much, but I first caught up at the tail end of 2011 when I was 15, so I guess I was at the perfect age to read it. Reading through the comic for the first time had to be one of the most magical experiences of my life. I generally had an idea of how stories were supposed to go. Homestuck completely shattered all that though. It's a story like no other. It's now ruined all media for me forever because nothing else can compare. It's taught me all the ways a story can be really cool, and all the pitfalls you can land yourself in as a creator. So God bless you, Andrew Hussey. I hate you so much.
Homestuck is important to me because it really feels like a representation of growing up. Like a personal representation. Just in a lot of the ways, where I go back and look at it and be like, holy shit, that was me, where you go back and look at something that you did and you kind of don't regret, but you almost kind of cringe at the way you used to be. And Homestuck, as much as I enjoy it, and as much as it's really cool, it's definitely flawed in its own right. And I feel but it's such a good representation of how we grow and the childhood of the time and what it was to be a kid in those times, and it's just such a cool way to remember the past. And with the epilogue is so far such a good representation of what, of growing up and how these things change, and these flawed characters are now adults, and it's so relatable in the way, because I'm 22 now, and I started reading Homestuck when I was pretty young, 15, 16, so it's crazy.
Hey Alex,
Yes, Tad?
let me tell you about how Homestuck ruined my life. The 5th edition. So, this one I've actually redone this one fully 3 times. I had it done, last fucking year, and then I left my old job and they took all my emails with it, so it was one of those.
All
And I
my
worked on
notes were in that email. What? Haven't you ever heard of literally any other way of storing your emails?
No, I haven't. Because I was doing it at work when I probably wasn't supposed to. But that was fine. I did it again, and then I was babysitting my nephew, and he was in my room for literally 25 seconds. And he turned off my computer, and I had everything on Notepad. The one that doesn't automatically save.
Why do you do these things?
Yes, Alex, I don't know any other way to save things.
Why?
Now I just put things in a fucking open office document folder.
Why do you do these things to yourself?
Maybe it was because subconsciously I didn't want to talk about Homestuck, but as we all know, I need to talk about Homestuck.
Yeah, 5 times.
So, the purpose of this one here, the first and second one I had to listen to those again to try and get myself back into it. And man, those did not turn out good. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah, speaking of those, I remember, do we actually put it up? Because there was one when we were recording where I actually fell asleep when you were trying to talk to me about Homestuck.
We did, it was the fandom one, and that one was like kind of sloppy. I wasn't really happy about it, but we recorded it 2 or 3 times, so I said, fuck it! We'll do it live!
Maybe
I fell asleep when I was talking about Aridin.
Maybe Homestuck isn't really that interesting, Tad. Have you ever considered that maybe making 5 freaking episodes about it might not be the best idea in the world?
Shut up, sweaty.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, so the point of this one is... Now, Alex, you and I could both agree. Homestuck is not a good story.
Not really, no.
It is objectively not that great of a comic. But why did I and a lot of other people give a shit? I read Homestuck from 2010 until 2019 because it is officially fucking donezo. It's finally done now. I started at the age of 14 and I read it until I was 24. Although now I'm 25, so my birthday was on the 17th. Birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, bro.
So those 10 years, 14 to 24, are pretty fucking important formative years in someone's life because you go into your teens up until young adulthood. Now, I mean, it's not as, like, biologically important as, like, going from a kid to a teen is, but socially, like, emotionally...
And mentally.
Yeah, those are when you're like, oh, I'm actually aware of the things that are happening around me now, and I can process things.
I'm an actual person.
Exactly. So, teenagers get obsessed with things, and that's normal. That's a normal thing that happens. That's why boy bands exist, because people capitalize on it. Like fucking BTS, I know, is a big thing right now. That's the Korean boy band. One of my bosses at work is fucking nutso over them.
Yeah, I know nothing about, like, boy bands, so by all means...
You don't know anything about Korean boy bands, Alex?
Bro,
that's a little bit weird.
Whoa, what the fuck? How do you not know about this shit? Only thing I know about Korea is that they're ruled by the goddamn Illuminati cult called, like, the Daughters of Begali or some shit.
By the way, there's a picture of Andrew Hussey wearing BTS merch. So yes, BTS is connected to Homestuck.
Nice.
Anyway, so people 14-24, they're trying to find their identity and shit, and they're trying to find, like, a place or a group and shit. I sent out a request for people to answer why was Homestuck important to them. I took a few of them, I didn't take all of them, and I put them in the start of this episode, but most of them, the answer was that it was a community for them. They had their friend groups through it, and that was the most important part about it to them. So I'm going to give a real quick timeline. I'm going to cut you off, Alex.
Aw.
Bitch. A real quick timeline of how I was exposed to Homestuck and how I got, like, my own sense of community from it. Despite only having, like, one friend who actually was willing to talk about Homestuck.
Is that me or someone else?
Someone else, because you weren't willing. You were trying to play Dota, too.
Yeah, I was trying to do literally anything else. That's just one scene, by the way. That's just the one that pissed me off the most. You did it a lot. Anyway, continue.
When I was first started using the internet, I was on a forum called VGLAN, which was based on the Super Mario Bros. Z Flash movies.
Which, if you guys remember from an older episode where he got into a fight with an admin, and the admin didn't believe that Ted had any friends, and then told me to come in there. Ted told me to come in there to prove that he had a friend, and he said, alright, both of you guys type at the same time, and I wasn't paying attention, because I didn't give a shit about what the hell was going on. And then the mod said, ha, see, proved it, you don't have any friends, and he left. So that's the kind of quality of people that went to VG Land. Anyway, continue.
So I saw a thread there for MS Paint Adventures that was, like, popular, had a lot of replies and shit. I went ahead and I watched it, and I couldn't make any goddamn sense out of it. I don't give a shit. This looks dumb. It was the 1 year anniversary. It was the S Descend Flash, and I was like, hey, whatever. He gives a fuck. But a friend of mine named Khan, different Khan from the other one that was on the podcast, whose real name is Tim, who's a different Tim than D&D Tim. He kept pushing me to read it, and I eventually just caved in and started reading it. And I was like, it had its hooks into me by like the second act, where you had the little desert dude running around getting up to his fucking shenanigans. I remember the exact date that I fully caught up, which was Aridin opening his fridge, which was August 17th, 2010.
9 years ago.
VGLA closed. Thank fucking God.
Yikes.
No one needs to see what Teenager Tad was posted. It was fucking awful. You can't even pull it up on internet. What's that website that lets you look at like...
Wayback Machine.
Yeah. Wayback Machine like didn't encrypt it, so I got away scot-free. So VGLA shut down, and everyone kind of moves on to other things, right? As a lot of forums are closed now. Even the fucking MS Paint Adventure forums are shut down. They don't exist anymore.
Because the way people talk to each other has simply changed.
So then I moved on to Dat Stream, which was like, and Alex knows all about Dat Stream too. It was a community streaming website, really similar to Vinesauce, where you had different people who would stream. GPM was the host of it. He owned it. He was a part of Vinesauce for a good long while. He was on an episode a while back. But I hang out there, and no one wanted to talk about Homestuck. No one was willing to talk about it there. So I really only had the one friend. I only had Khan, who I would talk to on Steam about Homestuck.
I specifically remember you brought me into that stream because you just wanted someone to talk to you super bad. So instead of talking about Homestuck, I ended up talking about League of Legends and forming my new group of friends who I've been with for how many years was that ago that you first showed me up in that stream?
Would have been like 2012, 2013.
Like me and my new group of friends, my better friends, my friend El Grandes, these guys who have been playing League with, well, we don't play League anymore, but we formed because of League for, I guess, at least 7 years, possibly even more.
Yeah, the dudes that I do Revival at Dungeons & Dragons Real Play Podcast, we played League. Me, Dan, Michael, Matt, and there's another friend named Blade, and another person named Peach that I would play with. And then we eventually... Was it you who started calling it jiggling, or was it us? I don't remember. Whenever we were like, hey, you guys want to play League? You guys want to jiggle? Because it's like Jigglebilly.
That is from Jigglebilly, who is named after Jigglebilly, a Han player, that's it, who made those fucking Devour videos where he was a kid when he made them, just screaming at the mic, yeah, Devo, hook him, and just screaming and shit. He made those videos, and his name was Jigglebilly, and so then you associate it with Jigglebilly, the fucking guy from Aqua Teen or whatever, and so then it turned into that. I don't think it was me specifically, I think it was like Walrus or something, but somebody started because of the Han player. God, I miss Heroes of New Earth.
So I really only had Khan to talk with on Steam about it, and eventually I came across Homestuck General. And I want to make this podcast as ad inappropriate as I can make it by describing it a bit more.
Nice.
So Homestuck General, from here on out, known as HSG, it was on the Comics and Cartoons 4chan board. And it was actually one of the reasons why you can't have... It started the general like thread thing where you can only have like one topic, or one thread for a topic, because otherwise you just fucking flood. You flood the entire goddamn board and no one can talk about any fucking thing else. They were up pretty much 24/7, and it got so bad that in 2014, Homestuck is now a bannable offense on 4chan. You can't talk about it.
Dude, that's pretty based.
And Homestuck build. So, those threads are up 24/7 because Homestuck could update like at fucking any time, any day. It didn't matter. The fucking author was on. He was fucking popping Xannies and shit. I don't know what he was doing to put out. Last time I checked, when it ended, it was like, not including the epilogue, it was like 7.3 pages a day over the span of 8 years. If you averaged it out, it was fucking nuts.
To be fair, a lot of those pages were just like one picture, though.
Or it would be like a zoom in of a battleship that took 3 days because it was 9 panels. Go fuck yourself. So there was a really unique feel to these threads. And so I was only on that stream or these fucking Homestuck General threads. That was it. That was the only places I was on the internet. There's a really fucking unique feel to them that you couldn't find on Tumblr, because Tumblr was still around at this time. It was like just starting. Reddit was like really, really small. DeviantArt was still relevant, or the actual official forums. It was constant nonsense shit posting and like pseudo-ironic role playing, but I really liked it. I enjoyed it because of like, you could have actually really interesting like conversations and shit about all the Homestuck nonsense. I remember staying up really, really late one night. I stayed up all night and I was dumping all of my land art folder, and people were talking about like some of it went over my fucking head. Like, I don't know what platonic idealism is, but apparently it's a thing.
What is it?
Platonic idealism, from what I understand, I've never taken a goddamn philosophy course, is if you take a concept like we'll use communism.
Oh, okay. Off to a good start.
Communism as an idea is this perfect, pristine thing, like, oh, everyone works together. But when you bring it into reality, it loses aspects of what it was when it was just an idea, and it ends up not being what you wanted. I think that's what platonic idealism is, where ideas do not always one-to-one correlate with reality.
I guess I get it.
And they were talking about how that works with Homestuck and yada yada yada. Those threads would actually get so bad that they had a generally accepted threat level system that went from abscond to unironic gender discussion to democracy. It's now the reason I'm staying on these threads for so long is that I was there for 5-6 years. Or not 5. I was there a lot of the time. And the way that these threads flowed, paired up with Homestuck, like they were pretty similar to each other. And I'm fairly sure that they influenced my sense of humor in a really strong way. Through these threads, you just have people, there would be normal discussion, normal whatever, people talking. And then someone just post in there and like pseudo-ironic role-playing, like grabs dick, shits on the floor, and then no one would respond to it. No one would acknowledge it. They just move right along ahead.
Walks into thread.
That was really fucking funny to me. I actually made a blog that I still own on Tumblr called lordenglishposts.tumblr.com, right alongside Roxy Lalonda, please step on my face.tumblr.com.
Why?
They were these total non sequitur shit posts with Lord English, the big green skeleton guy, right?
Yeah, I know him.
What it would be is that someone took these nonsense shit posts that people would put and made it into like a 2-person act. You would have the little white cue ball dude, Scratch. He'd be like an intelligent gentleman. Then English would just be a fucking hulking moron. If I was ever in like a shit mood, I'd just go in the thread and scroll down until I saw someone posting, Scratch! Someone left the ice cream in the fridge! That's the milk. Shit like that. Or gluing him, or getting himself stuck in the washing machine, and then someone recorded a vocaroo of them inside of a fucking washing machine.
But why?
It's a really good example of like the actually pretty funny shit posts people would just drop out of nowhere. It became like adopted as part of like a group culture, where people would just do it. It became second nature, like the fucking big guy meme, where if you just say you're a pretty big guy.
Well, you see, Ted, I gotta interject here. Now, are you sure this is specifically Homestuck nature and not just 4chan nature? Because that sounds like literally every board on 4chan.
This was when I was younger, Alex, so it's more important because it's related to me.
Oh, okay.
I don't care about everyone else. The most creative undertaking... Well, there was some other cool stuff that people did in it. There was a dude who would... he set up a bot to get every single Homestuck thread on the website and put it in one single post. He would, like, take all the words and make a word map, if you know what those are.
A word cloud?
Yeah, he would make a word cloud, and 99% of the time, fuck was the number one most, like, used word. People would set all these fucking weird things up, which inspired other people to actually go and learn and make all these weird fucking things. Like, someone had a bot that would shitpost a sandworm at the end of every single thread, like, right before it died.
I mean, like Shahilud or whatever?
Yeah. I think it's Shayhalud.
Yeah, I don't know how to say that. I don't know Dune.
It's from Dune. I've never read or seen Dune, so But by far the most creative undertaking HSG ever had was something called metastuck. The first big hiatus for the comic was like, I think it was 2012. It was a Flash called Cascade. I think you were at my house when it came out. That's why I remember it. The comic updated at least every 2 days, bare minimum. And this was the first time I ever took a big break. I was like 2 months, cold turkey, nothing. So to compensate, the people in the thread started brewing up like a what if Homestuck session thing. Because remember, the thing's like a fucking template. And it sounds super fucking cheesy, but at the time it was really, really fun because everyone involved was like 14 to 17 years old.
Sounds about right.
They had a bunch of people from the 4 places that people talked about Homestuck. The Homestuck General, Tumblr, the official forums, and DeviantArt. Because remember, no one gave a shit about Reddit until like 2010. Or not 2010, like, whatever. I'm not a fucking Reddit historian, don't kill me. But it was a cross-website collaboration to make personifications of each group and give them, like, their own personalities, classes, aspects, all that fucking dumb shit. There's not a lot of crossover between nerd fan groups. Like, I never see people like a Star Wars Forum A teaming up with Forum B, C, and D to do, like, a big thing. Yeah. It's not really that common for nerds to work together, you know?
They mostly have a site identity thing where they don't like using the other sites.
Yeah. But yes, that was that stupid Homestuck General dumb shit. I felt a bond with these losers because we all would sit there and wait for the updates, wait for them, read them all at the same time, do all their nonsense. I'd wake up, check Homestuck on my phone, go to work, listen to Homestuck music, go home, read Homestuck again, and browse Homestuck General, and go to bed. That's all I did for like 2 years straight, maybe 3.
So, since he confirmed it, that's what I let everyone remember. Remember, he likes Homestuck a little too much.
Yeah, it's fine, Alex, it's fine.
This is why it used to bug me when we were younger. I'm not an asshole, Tad. You're just obsessive.
Listen, Alex, I said at the start that it's okay, so, you know.
Oh,
you trying to shame me?
Yes,
My
I
own
am.
fucking podcast?
Yes, dude, I'm fucking nerd shaming you right now, super hard.
So, the threads eventually got banned because it was just garbage. There was nothing actually quality coming out. After a certain point, everyone left except the people who had shitpost. Which is kind of where the problem comes.
I like how you say earlier, hang on, I gotta stop you again. You say earlier how much you loved every single minute of it and all this fun stuff, and then you immediately say afterwards, yeah, it was all trash. Now, Tad...
it became all trash because everyone else left. Okay. Because the comic started sucking ass.
But Tad... the comic always sucked ass.
Oh, dude, epic.
Dude, fucking upvote me on Reddit right now.
Speaking of Reddit, so, the comic ended in, quote-unquote ended in fucking 2016, right? You know, it's 2019, and now it's done, but whatever. Yeah. Let's ignore that for now. But on April 12th, I hosted a community stream of every single Flash animation in Homestuck. I think it was like 9.5 hours or something.
Jesus.
It was a fucking long ass stream. And that's not even like all of them, because some of them we just skipped because we didn't want to spend 48 minutes watching someone play the like Flash game where you walk around the meteor.
Fun fact,
we all fucking did it.
I was actually just about to ask, did that include the games? But I guess it didn't.
I would put them up to a vote and be like, hey, if 70% of you guys want to skip it, then I'll skip past it. And usually after like 10 minutes it would go through because everyone just wanted to move on. It's also where those fucking Redditors stole my meme of splicing in that really bad Homestuck AMV and all these really shitty Homestuck videos. I would just slice them in really quick in between like the normal videos.
What, mean you don't know? Uh-oh.
Yeah, you don't know you're a Homestuck, or like the extraterrestrial Homestuck one.
But
if you go to the comments for that, it's a bunch of people saying like, ha ha, they did this on the Reddit stream. I'm not fucking bitter about it.
Hey, extraterrestrial is Kino, alright? That thing has only views from you and me using it to shitpost to other people.
That's the thing. It did until someone like watched my stream and stole that joke and did it on their own for the Reddit one.
Sounds like someone's a little jealous.
I'm not fucking jealous. I'm not owned. In the lead up to it, a bunch of people were coming back to those threads to try and like finish it out, because not many people were actually happy with it at that point. They just kind of wanted it over. So everyone was watching it at the same time, and then the final update finally came out. I remember my old roommates and our friend was at the apartment, and I was just like not playing. I think they were playing Warframe. I was just ignoring them, locked in my room, waiting for Homestuck to update.
Nice. How old are you during this part?
I was ready to be like, okay, I'm done. It's over. Get me out of here, Malik.
Yeah, I'm done. As you're doing literally the same thing as an adult as you were as a teenager.
So when the Act 7 flash came up, I was all fucked up. Like, you know that like Tumblr literally shaking thing? I'm fully admitting it right now. It's like, it was not like, this was the most excited I've ever been for something in my entire life. Because I'm like, all right, it's finally done. Thank you for laughing, Alex. I know you can't have enjoyment out of anything.
Well,
in your
no,
life.
I'm not. It's kind of funny, just the idea of like the most excited you ever been. Not for like a cool movie or like a new game or like doing
Fuck movies.
doing literally anything. It's the newest Homestuck update, because I'm picturing you like I'm thinking of you like one of those pepes where it's like all wrapped up and comfy and the little like computer screen glowing like illuminating the room. That's you wrapped up. You got like a fucking like hot cocoa. You've got fucking like chips ready. Just like everything's dark. You just have a little glow coming off of the screen. Just oh man, you're just mashing F5 over and over. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait to end it all.
You're literally like pretty much spot on.
So it's
Except
funny
I didn't have a blanket because it was warm.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of the idea. Get it?
Mm-hmm. But so there was a big update that came out on the 6th of April. The finale was on the 13th. So there was like a week and a half of people going like speculating on bullshit and building this up to be something really important that's finally going to end it all. And like, oh, it's going to solve everything. Oh, geez. Oh, man. It's good. You know, oh, I have some questions like what happened to the guy? How did Gamesy end up on Earth? Why did Jane's dad go hug John and not his own daughter? Which is fucking weird. It's still not explained. Volume 10. What about that Homestuck? Yada, yada, yada. It was a week and a half of people like thinking about it. Would it solve every question? Probably not. Would it solve what happened in like the big flash on the 6th, Collide? Yeah, probably, because that one ended in a really weird space. Since it came out, I've seen Collide, the big flash, I think 18 times.
Collide's the final one, right?
It's like the one with all the fights, and it's like wacky, and it's like really fucking hot, really fucking fast paced and shit.
So I'm sorry, forgive me, because my knowledge is not all that great. Is Collide the final like ending one, or is it the first to last one?
It's the first to last one where it's like the song is called Opa Toby Style.
Nice.
And it's like everyone fighting in a big thing. And then the very last one was just called Act 7.
Okay.
So I've watched Collide 18 times. I've watched Act 7 twice in my entire life. Once all the way through when it came out, and then one more time. And I like one more time actually to make sure I didn't have like a fucking stroke and that I didn't like go to sleep and like imagine this horrible, awful piece of shit.
Nice.
I have never in my goddamn life seen such a visceral negative reaction to something. Like, I've never seen a group of people so vehemently like angry at just a piece of media.
Have you ever gone to 4chan's V board whenever they censor titties?
Yes, it was worse than that.
Damn, alright, shit. I'm listening now. Let me hear this.
The movie was fine, whatever. It had cool visuals. Who gives a shit? But like the fucking gut feeling in my stomach when I saw 2/3 of the video had been spent watching a tadpole fly in the air, and I'm like, oh no, this isn't gonna end well. It was awful. It was awful. I have this picture I took. I think it was like 3 days after it. I went on YouTube and I went to like find people's reaction videos to it. I'm like, this person looks like she's happy and enjoying her life. And I took a picture of her beforehand, then afterwards she just looks like her soul's fucking crushed.
It reminds me of with Madoka. They had this big movie for Madoka where they had a picture on the Wikipedia. It's on the official wiki, and it says that a lot of fans did not like the ending to that movie whatsoever, and it causes a huge rift in the community with the ending. And you see a picture of like two Madoka fans. They have like little plushies and the things like before they go to see the movie, and they come out. They're just like sad after they've seen the movie.
It was that. It really was. There's a video of someone made of like Krusty the Clown. Which is, what the hell was that crap?
Oh, I thought there was Chippy the Cheapskate.
It really was. It was fucking atrocious.
Alright, so I'm gonna make the mistake of asking. You don't need to describe the whole thing, because you can't describe an 18-minute video, but like, what happened in it what was so bad? What made you and the girl and everyone else and those Madoka fans have their souls crushed in Hussey's hand? What was the thing that did it?
So people who were reading the comic, they enjoyed it up until like 2012, right? That's when Act 6 started, and it kind of floundered because he was throwing on stuff, throwing on shit, throwing on stuff, because he would get bored, add more to the story, just keep adding more, yada, yada, yada. And so there was a lot of loose ends. Collide comes out and solves a good amount of them. It has, a big kind of conclusive arc thing, but it still has a bunch of very important plot points that weren't addressed. And the ending of it, like, the fight's all finished, and then it, like, has this weird ominous music and fades to white. So people were expecting it to continue on that. And the big final flash everyone was waiting for, it did not address any single plot point brought up past 2013. Everything that happened in the past 2 to 3 years of where, like, if you were a Homestuck fan, like, yeah, I'm not liking how it is right now, but diamonds in the rough, I'll keep listening. All of that was invalidated because it didn't matter. None of all this other shit mattered. So it felt like you just wasted 3 years of your life.
Or in your case, like 10.
Pretty much, yeah. It felt like none of it mattered. All of this time was wasted. Because if the stuff that was going on was actually really interesting and still cool, you could be like, oh, well, it didn't matter, but at least I got to see all this cool stuff. But it wasn't cool. It wasn't interesting. It really wasn't.
I know exactly how you feel when you are incredibly excited and you love something only for it to disappoint you really, really hard. However, I can't talk about it because my family listens to the podcast. So I'll just leave I'll leave the fans with that incredibly ominous sentence. But I know how Tad feels, but in a more real way.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Oh shit! I was going to say something. Now you just stole it out from under me, Alex. You motherfucker.
Good, because you're not the one who should bring it up, asshole. Because then they know.
No. I was gonna. No. It was about this. But anyway, so that was where I read Homestuck and all that shit. But why did I keep giving a shit? You heard me say just right there that after a certain point, I wasn't really that invested anymore. There was a lot of stuff I didn't like about it. So why did I keep reading it?
Well, why?
So I was 14 when I started reading Homestuck, right? And all the main cast were 13 years old. There's an anime time skip that brings them up to 16 when I was 17. And in the epilogue, they're all 23 or 24. They've aged with me. They were at my side all along, my guiding moonlights. It's a Bloodborne reference, Alex.
Oh, I know.
I just heard that game.
Oh, no. I heard it, and I like that game. But I'm not going to validate you, because I know you... have you even beaten that game, Tad?
No, I got to that boss and thought it was too hard, so I just stopped playing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You don't deserve validation, Tad. See, me, a Bloodborne Chad, I platinumed that game, okay, sweetie? I think forget it, but you get the idea. Just continue on with this fucking story. This bit's not funny anymore. Just keep going.
Okay. I remember what I was gonna say. So the ending of Homestuck was so bad that it has permanently damaged my ability to enjoy media because I don't want to get to the ending of a story now.
Wow, it sounds a lot like me, except, with other things that I can't talk about.
But like, we watched Gurren Lagann right after Homestuck ended, like a month later, and I sat there like, or I watched it, then I made you watch it a bit later.
Yeah.
But I sat there like the last 2 episodes. I'm like, should I even watch this? I didn't. I had no way of knowing if the last few episodes were going to be good, or if it was going to end in a big fat fucking fart in my face like Homestuck did. And ever since, like when I read Worm, I got to the last 2 chapters, and I'm like, should I finish it? Is this gonna fall on its fucking face? It's every time I get to the end of a story now, I hesitate. I can't fully, even in movies, I'll get like to the like when I watch Brightburn, when I got to the last like 15 minutes, I'm like, should I detach myself from this story now? Should I stop being invested? Because is it gonna end in a big fucking shit right in my mouth? I don't know. I still have that issue. It's like you know, if
Go ahead, reference it, Ted. See what happens.
No. It's not about you,
Reference.
Alex. It's not about you. It's not all about you, Mr. Important. No, I had another reference, but it would just take like forever to fucking explain it.
What I was gonna say is that sucks you're getting into Kamen Rider because a lot of Kamen Riders have really bad endings. Very
Yeah,
few of them
pretty
have
much.
good ones. Like off the top of my head examples, I'm sure there's a billion, but out of the ones that I've seen, Double, in my opinion, has a terrible ending because it's like before the last episode, the first to last one, this character's dead. He's just fucking dead, and like he's like, all right, well, I guess I gotta fight on my own now, and they just bring him back to life because I don't know, fuck you. Just fuck it, whatever, who cares? There's no permanence, nothing matters. Okay, haha. Everything's fine. It feels really lame because they spent so many episodes with him like trying to make a big deal out of it just to rob it, right? It feels unearned. But then there's O's, which in my opinion has a really good ending, where in a similar situation happens, a character dies, and now the protagonist is now looking for a way to bring him back, because it's really hard for me to describe, but he's basically a robot and he could be rebuilt. So the logic of it's a little different. But he's dead, and now he's setting off on a journey. He's wandering with a newfound purpose, and it's a good ending because it goes back to the very beginning of the fucking show where he's just wandering around without purpose. Get it? It's a good ending.
So, ever since I've kind of had this hesitation with endings, you know, I've been scarred. So back to why I gave a shit. So I was really close in age to the characters in Homestuck, right?
Yes.
And I was a teen, so it's pretty easy to get obsessed with things, and you project yourself onto them because they're the same age as you. I didn't project like as much, but like I can understand fully why someone would. Like those people that had their Tumblr blogs that I am literally Nepeta. She is me. Those
Yikes.
people. And then if you push it further, you end up with those, you know, those people with mental illnesses that are like Homestuck kin and shit. I could see how someone could get to that point because they're only immersed. Like, if all you do, because I was saying it kind of as a goof. Like, I was doing other things besides Homestuck, but I was really involved with Homestuck like every fucking waking moment, right?
Yeah, you already mentioned it earlier, so I can't even make fun of you for it. You already said what you did in what you would do in your day. So whatever,
Yeah.
just keep going.
So, I mean, I did do that. Like, I was Homestuck this, Homestuck that, Homestuck, bop, 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 here we go, bam, bam, bam. But I also was doing other things with my life, right? But I could see how if someone didn't, like, if they were trapped in their room all the time, like, if they didn't have to go to work, if they didn't have any other responsibilities and stuff, and all
They
they
were
did was
neats.
Homestuck.
They were just neats who had access to the computer for way too much time.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, I'm close to the age of these Homestuck people. Oh, I see. It's such a big and wide and expansive story. You know, like how those Virgin X and Chad Y memes, how the fucking Virgin X is like a bunch of really generalized statements that anyone can fall under.
Any generalized introverted statement, yes.
Yeah, it's like that. With a story this big, you're going to find things that it's like, oh, hey, that's actually pretty similar to me, and yada, yada, yada. So I see how people can end up getting, like, really, really fucking entrenched into this to, like, an unhealthy extent. Because I did have a separation. You know, I never thought that I'm literally Tad Homestuck. I'm not a crazy person.
He says, forcing me to download a Homestuck messenger program where he nicknamed himself after a Homestuck character.
Listen here, Sweaty. I came up with my own chum handle, and I thought it was really fun, and I just wanted to test it out.
Rambunctious Hooligan.
Yeah, it's a fun name.
Yeah, okay, Sweaty.
So there's certain things that happened because I was involved with Homestuck very heavily across this whole fucking 10-year time span. So there's like these, when it was getting closer to ending, I started like really thinking about it and shit, and I noticed that there were certain moments of my life that like I had unintentionally like associated really strongly with Homestuck shit that I didn't think about until afterwards. I'm like, wait.
How so?
Huh, that's weird. And this doesn't even, like, this could happen with literally anything. Like, if I was really into fucking cars, not fucking cars, but, fucking cars.
Oh,
like, I might associate, like, if I was a normie, let's say I'm a greaser in the fucking 50s, I might associate a Chevy Corolla with, like, my first girlfriend or something, right? Because, I would always go in my Chevy Corolla when we went on drives around, and then we were fucking in the back seat,
So greasers are normies to you?
Basically. So, this is all normies do, right? Alright, so speaking of normies, so... I
feel like the original point of this was lost now.
No, it's fine. I can salvage it. So, when I was at work, I would listen to Homestuck music because I had headphones, right? Yeah, of course I did, Alex. Shut up. Stop interrupting, please.
Keep going.
So I started with like my normal music, got bored of it, listened to some Homestuck music. Oh, this is kind of fun. And I did that for a while until eventually I got bored of that and started listening to podcasts and then made my own podcast. But I didn't want to listen to... I was one of those weird kids. One of those super nerd kids who like... Basically all I had on my... Like, I didn't even have a phone. I had an MP3 player. All I had was like video game music in like Homestuck. Because I'm like, ew, lyrics? That's too normie for me. You know what I mean, Alex? I was one of those kids.
I do, but even I have like lyric songs on my phone, shit.
But I just started listening to like Homestuck tracks. Like every time I went outside when it was fucking 98 degrees, and I'd take out garbage, I would like either hit shuffle or I'd go to a specific album and like shuffle it and listen through it over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
So I noticed that there was like a few things that were really paired up with it. It's kind of like, all right, do you remember that shit post about the kid who was playing the Kirby pinball game?
Oh,
and he walked in on his parents fucking, and now he associates Kirby pinball with his parents fucking, and he can't play it anymore.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say now. Yeah, it makes total sense. When you compare it to something stupid and funny, now I get it.
Yeah. So a great example from my end. So when my nephew was born, it was like really bad at my house. Every morning there would be like a screaming match between my mom and my brother, and I'd be caught in the middle of it because I didn't have my own car.
Yeah.
So I'd have to go with... Timmy would be going... My little brother would be going to school, and my mom would, like, have to take me to work. So I'd be in the middle of that right when I woke up until I got to work. Then once I got home from work, I'd be back in the middle of it again.
Of course.
So I'd go to work, and I'd, like, ruminate on these things. I'd be thinking about them. I'd feel my blood pressure rising, and, like, my mood would sour, and I'd turn into just, like, a shitty person to be around, right?
Of course.
So I'd always listen to one specific song that would like, oh, this'll cheer me up. And it was called Softly from Volume 5 of Homestuck. And now anytime I hear that, I just get those feelings I had at that point in time. It's like if you smell a specific smell and you're like, oh, I'm in my grandma's kitchen. She's doing yada, yada, yada.
Association. Yeah. That's a thing.
So I got all these Homestuck associations that helped keep it in my mind, even if I wasn't actively reading or participating in it anymore. You're right,
Yeah, I know, yeah. I do have an association thing myself, but I don't necessarily know if I should tell the little story behind it, so I think I'm better off just not.
So this is like the second or third time to be like, yeah, I've got something. I'm not going to tell you guys.
Well, this one,
which is up to you. I mean,
to be
you
fair,
can decide whether or not.
Well, to be fair, the last time I'll let the fans in on this one. The last time, remember the VHS and Daddy issues episode we did a while back, which actually has a lot of views compared to a lot of our other episodes.
It was fun, yeah.
Yeah. So after I made that episode, I got 2 different texts from my mother and my sister. My mother being a lot less supportive and being very, very mean because that's just how she is, and then my sister being really, really sad and being like, "Oh, Alex, don't let the things Dad did you define you." Blah blah blah. And she kept for the next week sending me a bunch of like self-help like books, like links on like Amazon to me. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm better off just not talking about my family on this fucking podcast. So that's why. So like, I'm not trying to do it to be an asshole. Legitimately, I will get either railed by my mother or. That sounds bad. I will get shit on by my mother. Damn it, that still sounds pretty bad. I will get chewed out by my mom real fucking hard. And then my sister will just bug me for like 2 weeks if I were to ever do an episode on my shitty family. So like, I can't. However, this other one, this association one, is not actually family related. So I'll just say it. So you know Fate, right?
Oh my god. Okay, I'll be fair. You have sat here and listened to me ramble on about a comic you don't give a fuck about, so I will listen to you talk about Fate.
No, I'm not.
This is my gift to you.
No, this doesn't have anything to do with the game. Fun fact: it has to do with just the character. So there's this character called Kiyohime. She's this obsessive little fucking green snake lady. I'm just gonna sum her up really fast to get down with this story. So there was this fucking freako, and that's what I will refer to it as. This freako who just wouldn't leave me the fuck alone about wanting me to fuck him super goddamn hard, and he was obsessed with Kiyohime, and he would try to roleplay as Kiyohime, and I'm like, ew, please stop.
Okay, this guy,
yeah, this creeper. And, well, during this whole situation, I'm like, man, is this how a girl feels when weirdos hit on them? Fuck, dude, being a girl must fucking suck. But after I learned that little thing, I now associate Kiyohime with this weird, horny creeper dude, right? So it's hard for me, because I liked Kiyohime. She was kind of cool. I have this little stupid thing of her right here. But it's hard for me to like her as much anymore, because now I always just think of that weirdo who wouldn't shut the fuck up about how much he wanted me to pound his boy pussy. Now it's a lot less interesting. Now she's a lot less cool to me. You know what I mean?
It's bussy, Alex, please.
So, like, I'm a lot less interested in that character now.
But yeah, see, so you see where this kind of association shit lends itself to.
Yes.
So you have the Homestuck music stuff. There's like 15 or 16 albums. I forget. There's a fucking lot. So music is very, very important. Like I just said with the Softly thing, I associate it with a very specific point in time in my life. Just there's a lot of music. There's a lot of community presence with Homestuck. A lot of people who are reading it were able to project themselves onto the cast because they were very close to their age, and because it was such a wide story, there was so many small things that people could point to and make, oh, that's me. That's me. This is me.
See, I do that, but usually, sorry to interrupt, but I do that same thing with saying me, but I always do it with like a stupid meme. Like I'll post a picture of a big fat Japanese salamander and just say, yeah, that's me. Or this orangutan that's just like fat, tired, and sad. That's literally me.
Yeah. The other thing, like the last thing I've got here as for how people kept themselves like as such a strongly associated with Homestuck, because that Homestuck had the way it was written and the way it was like the visuals was it followed this like video game template that would give someone a really fucking easy pass to make their own like to insert themselves in there. Like, oh, I just have to give myself a name following these rules and then a chat handle following these rules. And then I get to make my own troll, and I get to give them this, that, these, and those.
It's always the trolls, by the way, never anyone else.
Yeah, because, fucking why. Don't get me started on that shit, Alex. Ooh, ooh.
We'll be here for another 3 hours.
But then you have stuff like the classes and aspects, which are... They're never fully explained. They're kind of like... It leaves a lot of open space for discussion and, like, speculation and shit. Like, like fucking Dark Souls or Binding of Isaac, all those modern IPs will have this in there because people are going to keep talking about your bullshit, right?
Of course.
These classes and aspects are like the Harry Potter sorting hat, where the author didn't actually have explicit guidelines. You know, like J.K. Rowling, she just put them in Slytherin's the bad guys, Gryffindor's the good guys. Oh, and I guess there's two other ones who
just to pad it out and make the school feel bigger.
Yeah, but people be like, "Oh, I'm an Xy or I'm a Y bro because I took this test online." There's no actual guidelines or rules to it, but you can look at the characters like, "Oh, Dirk is a Prince of Heart. This guy is also a Heart character, and this one's a Prince character. What can we pull from them? What are their? Where do they overlap? Where are they different? Yada yada yada."
It has this level of engagement, which helps people stick around and talk about stupid shit. Because, like, you can only talk about one thing in, like, any type of media for so long. But when you have an engaging aspect, such as being able to create your own characters, or the Harry Potter sorting hat, or the aspects, or God help you, the romance quadrant thing. When you have these little world building things, it allows people to have better discussions and get more involved with shit. I actually know this a lot, as you can see by me just talking about it out of nowhere, because I looked into this a long time ago, because, you know, I want to make things, but I'm lazy as fuck. So those kinds of thoughts are always in my head. It's a world building thing that you really need to consider when you're creating some kind of story or game or anything.
Mm-hmm. So people, you get this thing, like, it's fun. It's fun to give yourself one of these classes and aspect things, and you're talking to your other Homestuckies, right? I did a GURPS campaign. GURPS is an RPG system that's very rules light. I did it once and it was really fun. It was like a Homestuck themed game where we followed some of the guidelines of the comic. Like, I made my own dude, I gave him a name, gave him his own weird wrestling styled inventory system. It's basically like making Sonic OCs, where it's
pretty much.
It's kind of cringe. It's kind of cringy, but it's fun. There were the lands of X and Y, whatever. Those are just really cool environments. I'm not gonna. With this episode, I'm going to have a download link to, like, my as far as I know, I have the biggest land folder out of the people that, like, I've ever talked to, because I really like the idea of it. It's if I had to choose one concept from Homestuck that I think is genuinely really good, it is the land of X and Y, which is where a character will have a environment to explore that has some kind of combinations of an object or an idea or something that then makes this whole crazy, creative, unique environment. It's a really fucking good idea.
For those of you who are in the Discord we have, a lot of our room names are actually named in that kind of format.
Yeah. Bards and Artisans, Tabletops and Tohus, I forget the rest.
TV and Tunes.
Yeah.
You get the idea.
Because it's a really fun thing. Same with Alchemy, where you combine two items to make something new. That's just a really fucking fun idea. Those two are probably the most fun things in Homestuck. Other stories, please steal them. So, alright, so to wrap this up, do I regret spending 10 years reading Homestuck?
I would say, I'm going to answer for you. Probably not, because you wouldn't have a podcast without it.
Yeah, that's true. That's using your context clues. I'm talking mad shit for someone within gray body paint smearing range. For this past hour, I've been basically just shit talking Homestuck. I think Homestuck is a series of really fun, really interesting, great ideas that was just piled onto one story for so long the story couldn't handle anymore. It made a huge world to pick apart and had all this endless debate you could have over the minutia, but the actual tale of the original skeleton of the four kids playing their game and growing up, all that got drowned out.
Well, actually...
But Homestuck... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's actually a big thing that happens with a lot of continuing stories, and off the top of my head examples, this usually happens a lot in those Shonen Jump mangas, because they're always updated weekly, right? Weekly, and that's their job. Like, they gun to their head, you gotta put out a new chapter next week, guy. That's what we pay you for, right? So, when you're given... you never want to end your story when you're in that situation, because it's how you're making money, right? It's your job. So you're just going to keep adding new things constantly, but you also only have 1 week to write and draw all of this shit. So when you're in that situation, that's why in, say, Dragon Ball, you know why Toriyama forgets half the shit he wrote? Because he didn't have much time to think about it.
He
So,
just
like-
had to put him out.
Yeah, he just had to keep shitting it out, and he just kept going, like, here's a new bad guy, like here's, like, Goku getting stronger, and, like, the Super Saiyan is, like, really big and important. Well, I gotta make a new bad guy, I can't just end the story there, it's my fucking job. Well, this guy, this android is now even stronger-est, yeah, alright, yeah, and then if Vegeta's here, then, guy from the future, yeah, and he just keeps fucking drawing, forgetting literally everything. It's a, well, I call it the shonen bloat. Obviously, it probably has a better fucking term, but I know it mostly from fucking anime and manga, and it applies to Homestuck too, where you just keep adding and adding and adding, and keep upping the ante, that everything is originally lost. Like, did you even know that Naruto's entire gimmick was that he was supposed to be an underdog? Now he's like a fucking chaos wizard? Like, it doesn't matter anymore. It just gets too fucking nuts, because you have to constantly one-up yourself to keep people reading. And that's the same shit that happened to Hussey. He had to keep constantly one-upping himself and adding some kind of new, like, big thing to actually get people to give a shit.
Well,
and it was
that
too
was
little
more
too late.
because he would get bored.
Oh.
We covered that in the Hussey one, where I'm like, I feel like he was just getting bored of his story, so he would add new mechanics and stuff. Because before, all of his stories had other people giving him a bunch of prompts, and he would choose the weirdest ones.
Yeah.
He's too smart to be writing webcomics, but apparently not smart enough to make a fucking functioning game. Oh, Deb.
Ooh,
But,
is he even, like, involved in that?
Here, you want to know my harrowing, spooky story that I think is going to happen? He might be involved with fucking Deltarune. Who else is Toby Fox going to put on his team, Alex? But anyway,
what does he need him for? I forget about it. We'll talk about it in the Deltarune episode when that game comes out in 7 years.
Yeah. So, Homestuck has a very unique feel. It is a snapshot of internet culture during its growth from IRC and, like, AIM chat and forums to, like, just before social media, like, just before Facebook and Tumblr and Twitter and all that. Like, it came out, like, it's right before that. That VG Land forum I mentioned earlier, Internet Archive has, like, a little small bits of it, but most of it's straight up gone. There was a concept I read a few years ago about the internet dark ages, where as we are moving past these chat rooms, these forums from the past are just gonna just disappear. They're just gonna kind of be gone. No one's there. There wasn't really a lot of people backing them up. And Homestuck is a snippet of a very specific, like, 10-year time span that it gives me a bit of a sense of relief that there's, like, a contemporary, well-archived story that pulls from our time as we were growing up on the internet and exists for like future people to look to and read the same way we would read. This is gonna sound like I'm fucking sniffing up a big old fart.
Mega pretentious, but keep going, it's fine.
The way that people can read The Crucible, that story about the Salem witches, and make, oh, this is the, this was during the Red Scare and all that. I see what they're pulling from here. People can look at Homestuck like, oh, okay, this is kind of how people were acting, how they were on the internet during this time. Homestuck as a story is not very good. It's got a lot of great ideas, but if it didn't have the I'm having a little bit of trouble summing up this last bit here. So Homestuck is a good mix. No, I got it. Homestuck is a good mix. The epilogues, which I really haven't mentioned at all during this because fuck them, they're awful and just a goddamn mess. The epilogues kind of summed up how I feel about Homestuck pretty well. There's two different epilogues for Homestuck. One that's called Meat and one that's called Candy. Meat is like plot, done. Candy is like sugary, sweet, everyone wins. Look at how happy everyone is, and then it just kind of spirals into chaos. There's deep plot stuff with Meat. There's surface level, sugary, whatever niceness with Candy. And Homestuck has both of those. There's a lot of lore, and then there's bullshit. There's this sugary whatever the fuck nonsense. If Homestuck was only one or the other, it would be a completely different beast. But it's this really unique mix of both candy and meat that makes me really like it. Even if, as a story, it's not that good, I am glad that I read Homestuck. It's helped shape my sense of humor and the way that I look at things. And for a lot of people like myself, it helped them find... Well, not for me, because I'm like the fucking exception, apparently. But everyone else, they got their friend groups through Homestuck and all of these. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm glad I read Homestuck. I'm not going to read it anymore, though. It can go fuck itself.
Well, you see, Ted, what I was going to say is thank you for saying that in a food analogy so I can understand it.
Go fuck yourself.
All right, let's close this shit out. Read off those fucking notes. Read off those Patreon.
Speaking of going to fuck yourself, podcast is on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play. I mentioned it earlier. I'm going to say it again, just in case it went by you. I'm going to dump like my Homestuck folder as like a RAR file and just fucking put it in the description.
Make sure you ain't got no porn in it.
I'll half-assedly check to make sure. You can also find the show on Spotify. Forgot to mention that. Discord in the description. Patreon in the description. Now that Homestuck number 5 is done, I think I'm finally done with Homestuck. I will probably end up doing a high swap thing if and when Act 2 comes out, but that's a big fucking if.
Yeah, but I think Deltarune will come out before fucking Homestuck 2 comes out.
But yeah, I am glad to be done with the Homestuck series. It's the reason I started the podcast. Now the podcast is over! Close the episode, Alex. We're done. We're done. Shut the recording down. We're fucking done, Zo.
Pull the plug!
See you fuckers next week.